For more updates, click on subscribe and click on bell button for latest notifications. Hi friends, welcome to Techarkit YouTube channel. My name is Ravi. In this video session, we are going to see that shell scripting tutorial in a single video. So
like, share, comment, and subscribe.
I'm going to completely make this shell scripting in a single video session. So we are going to learn these topics in this session. So first of all, what is the advantages of the shell script, hello world script, and making the script template and variables, special variables. So like this, totally 23 topics, and further that how you can study, where you can find the resources, and where these scripts are located, and how can you download these scripts which are used in this video. So all of this going to be in single video session. Let's start. So example say what is this shell scripting advantages whenever you learn, or why it is used and where it is used. So basically, if you learn shell scripting, what is the advantages you will get is the here is that example, if you want to make a file copy every time, example say you want to make MySQL database clone and restore to test or dev environment. So every day you want to take some production copy of MySQL database and restore it to the test or development environment, so that test and development guys can look into that. It's like developing any new application or debugs, anything they can wanted to do. So every time what you have to do is that, okay, you have to take the backup and restore it. Instead, what you can do is that simply make a small script using the MySQL dump, and which can take your database backup and restore into the test and development environment. So that makes your life easier, and the system cannot forget, like every day at the particular time it do the job. Okay, again, if you want to, like example say that if you want to do some cleanup jobs, example disk space cleanup, or the log files rotation cleanups, or the if you want to archive some logs to the somewhere else and do your system cleanup, all the stuff, then that can also be done using this shell scripting stuff. Otherwise, again, if you want to monitor the systems, like where I have a number of systems, if you want to you do not have any monitoring tool, if you want to monitor it by your own, example say that if you want to monitor your CPU utilization and disk space utilization, memory utilization, and collecting the disk space history, like where you can calculate the trend of that, all the stuff you can use. This shell scripting would be more useful in terms if you want to do, or else if you want to do some data related stuff, example say that you want to do a text manipulation, like here to here copy, you wanted to manipulate the text as the output you wanted to manipulate for your reporting structure, something like that, you can also use the shell scripting for things. So not only these examples, you can use much wider than this based on your requirement. So let's start here. So how can you make some basic shell scripts? So here, if you want to do a basic shell scripting, so what you can do is simply combining a multiple commands in a series, that's called as a shell script. You can seriously write the commands and put it in the single file and save it, that's called a shell script. But before writing some shell scripts, you have to make some things better so that your shell script may not fail. So first one is that shebang value. So the shebang value will give you a, like, whatever the commands you are writing on this file will be interpreted by the bin bash command, so that the each and every command will be executed in a series one by one, in a file, so that you can understand, okay, that interpreter can understand, okay, this is a bash execution. Otherwise, if you do not set any bash, sometimes the variables or the values whatever you are writing over there may fail. So that's why the shebang value would help us in interpreting the commands whatever you wrote on that file. Okay, now let's save this file as a hello.sh. So to easily identify this is a shell script, so that you can just add the extension .sh, so that it can be easily identified that, okay, this is a shell script. In this environment I'm using Ubuntu 9.04 version, and you can use any version of the Linux which may works. Okay, let's see this how you can write the command. So basically, whenever you are writing the command, you just specify that what is that script is for and when it is written, so that details later point of time, if you want to identify that, okay, this script is written in mind, that okay, this is what the script can do, like little bit of the description and all this stuff. Okay, maybe I can say that here it is that hello world script, say print statement, nothing much. So here I'm saying here it is that echo and just print hello world. This is what the I want to print on the screen. So now just save this file and go to terminal here, and now just increase this font size little bit so that you can easily see over here, and go back to the desktop and shell scripting. Where is this exactly? The directories, the files are stored over here, the home path. Let's go to home path and see here there is a shell scripting directory. In this directory I have this hello.sh file. So this sh file, if you want to execute it, you have to just change that file to be into the execute mode. So chmod u plus x and write hello.sh. So we may decrease the value little bit. Okay, so now let's execute the script. The script can be executed in multiple ways. Either you can write dot slash hello.sh. So now let's execute that hello script, and you can see this hello world is, you can execute it like this, or maybe you can also use hw.sh can be executed. So previously I got that error is that the bad interpreter, something like this. Example, say if you can execute this one, you can get this error over here. You can see this, right? Not found as something like that. Or else if you are executing something like this, so it says that hello.sh bad interpreter, no such a file or directory, because I written this shell script into the using the notepad plus plus, and that is something like Unicode format, which is on Windows. So that's why it gives error saying that, okay, that not able to understand the language. If I write the same script, example, say if I write hello example 1 dot hello dot sh, if I write the same script over here, like slash usr bin slash bash hello world script, echo statement, and if I go and write over here hello world, and you can see this. Now if I add this execute permissions to the user and execute that script, it works perfect. But if I see the code of the hello script, and if I see the code of the one hello script which looks to be similar, but this is what this like whenever you copy the file from one location to another location or the Windows to Linux, so you have to do convert that file into the DOS to Unix, so that it format that Unicode values, the ANSI values, the format will be differ comparatively Windows and the Linux. So that's why if you are writing any code onto the like example in Windows Notepad or WordPad, something like that, then whenever you copy the script to the Linux, so you just have to do this DOS to Unix and file name, so that what happens, it converts the file into the actual Unix format, then you will not get that errors. Okay, that's about. Let's continue with this topics now. Now we just made this hello world script. So that hello world script, what it will provide, so you can just see this hello script. It's just a echo statement. Whenever you want to print on the something on the screen, then you can, what you can simply use is that echo is the command, can print any statement. So the echo is very useful. In most of the times we use this echo statement in all the scripts and all the way. Okay, let's remember that. And here if you are comparing this echo statement with the different stuff, so I just show you in a simple example. Here it is, what is the this difference between the single quotations and the double quotations over here. Okay, echo statement, if I want to print something like in this, so same dollar host name, I would like to print that value over there. But if I say a single code, I write the same statement over here, hello dollar host name world exclamatory, and if I execute the same script over here, so which can execute in a different way. Okay, so the double quotation can take the variable value as variable value, so whatever the value is associated to that variable can be print on that double quotation. But if you do a single quote, the strict quote, whatever the special character you use on the script can be printed as it is, so there is no associated value can be taken into the consideration. Okay, that's the basic difference between the single quotation and the double quotation. If you want to print the statement with these special characters, use single quotes. Variables. So what is this variables and how the variables can be used? Most of the times the variables are the value, so any value you can use on the variable. Like example, say I want to use some command, and the command can be associated with that value, that variable. So let's create another script. Example, say variable dot sh. Example, you can write the variable over here is that. Okay, so first of all I have to get into the insert mode and write the shebang value over here. And same the variable values. So here variable must be in a starting with, or the value must be starting with a character, not the number. Okay, and in variable you should not use any special characters, so such as at the rate value, something like that, you should not use it, so that that's a wrong value over here. So let's see this how we can use this variable values. Example say that I'm assigning the variable values is a equal to 10. Okay, maybe you can also use multiple characters like this, b equal to 20, or maybe you can also use the value something like this, equal to 30, like this. So if you want to allocate, or if you want to assign any command to these variables, so you can also use something like this. So the variable name is host, so I'm assigning the command called host name. So always use this best practices is that dollar within the process, you just write the command over there, so that is a best practice. So if you want to assign something like date value over here, you can also write into the reverse quotations something like this, the date value you can write this like this. But this method is deprecated in the previous versions itself. The best practice is to write this command value within this braces dollar process. Okay, so or if you want to say that I am saying that one value equal to triple five something like this, and example say if I write a the false of this variable at the rate variable over here, if I use this value something like this, so it will not print anything. Okay, or maybe you can also use underscore or hyphen something like this instead of hyphen. You can also use something like this, underscore a equal to wrong value, anything you can write over here. So you can anything you can assign over here. So how you can print this variable, so these are the variables already assigned, or so the variables are specified. So this is called as a global variables. Now if you want to print those variable values, so you have to write echo statement. Within that I have shown you the double quotation is the one you have to use. So you can say variable value a, variable a value something like this, and dollar a. So similarly copy all these values and change the variable over here. So say ba value is dollar ba, and dollar bc value is dollar bc, and host name is host, and date value is dollar date, and one value is dollar one value, and two more are there, and two more here is that false at the rate var. So it should be in a character, like whatever the characters there, it should be uppercase or smaller case. So it should be as it is, you have to write into the variable value. If you write smaller upper cases, so the value should not print. So this is the example variable values over here. So these variable values must be a case sensitive values, so I have to write as it is the case sensitive values over here. And let's see how these variable values are going to be printed. See this, the variable value 1, say that not found, and false is not found something like this, and you can see this, the variables printed over here, what the value is printed over here. So the value is value something like this, it is printed, and the false value at the rate var something it is printed. But if you can see this, the date value is printed as it is the date value, and the host name is printed the host name, and b value and a value ba value will be printed as it is. So this is the variable examples how you can write the variables. The variables are case sensitive, and must remember the variable rules is that always start the variable with the alpha character, not the numerical number, and the values wherever the variable you are assigning, you should not use any special character values over there. And writing the value or the variable must specifying the variable, calling the variable on the shell script must be in a case sensitive. That's what you have to remember. So next is that, so the variable we have completed over here, and you can see this, what is that special variables. Let's see this, what is this special variable values over here. Special variables are also on a variable values, but whenever you wanted to something like collect this values from the previous command execution status, or if you want to count this number of argument given on this, and if you want to calculate like the process, the whenever you run the value over there and what is the process, all that you can use in this special variable values over here. Let's say that special var dot sh is the file name I'm just going to create over here, and say slash usr bin slash bash is the cbang value. You have to write it, say special variables. Okay, so here I'm just writing the special variable values over here. Example, say that echo, and I'm writing this special variable over here. It is that, okay, within the single quotation, so you have to remember the values. Dollar star, output of that value is going to be a dollar star. And I am writing one more echo values over here. The special character is dollar ash. The output is going to be a dollar ash value. And you can see this one more special variable is that the positional parameter values over here, $1, $2, and output of this would be a $1, $2. And you can see this one more special variable is that dollar at the rate, output of that value is dollar at the rate, and echo, and you can call one more special variable is called dollar question mark, and output is going to be a dollar question mark. And one more special variable is that dollar output is going to be a dollar. And let's say one more value is going to be a special variable. Here it is that dollar exclamatory mark, output of this one is dollar exclamatory mark. And you can call the current programming name, that is also a special variable over here. So say $0 and say output is $0 program name. So whatever the file name is, that would be printed over here. I'm just putting some sleep value over here because it needs maybe you can also call something like C for 300 or 400. I'm sending into the background, and the value will be printed over there. Okay, so these are the special variable values. So one is that the counting that variable values and the positional parameter values and all the given variable values, and like it question mark will grab the previous command executed status, and it will print dollar in the sense the PID number, currently executed PID number will be captured, and dollar question mark will also print over here. Let's see this, what is that values will be printed, and so that you can understand over here. You can see this. Is there anything printed? Nothing is printed. So let's say provide some input over here. So dollar star, so how many parameters you print after the the shell script will be printed on the dollar star value over there, and dollar hash, the count of the positional parameter, and dollar one, dollar two, dollar one is on a positional one parameter, and dollar two is on a positional two parameter, and dollar at the rate, that is also in a value of all the positional will be captured and printed. Dollar question mark, if the command is executed successfully, the value would be 0. If the command is not executed successfully, or it gives some error, that a value would be printed in a different 1 or 2 or 3 until 254 values or 255 values, whatever the value is associated to that status will be printed. And let's see this, next one is dollar dollar. Whenever the script is executed, what is the PID number on the process will be printed over here, dollar dollar, and dollar exclamatory value, so nothing is printed, and dollar zero is the one where it prints the program value over here. The current program value will be printed. So this is about the special variables. You can see this, the special variables are over here, dollar star mark and dollar hash mark, dollar 1 2 3 4 5 the positional parameters, dollar at the rate all the positions in a single line, and dollar question mark will be captured of the execute command execution status, and dollar exclamatory mark, and dollar zero in the sense the program name, whatever the file name you used, that will be printed over here. So that's of the special parameters. Now let's see this, what is the next one. So arithmetic operators, so how we can use these arithmetic operators in the shell scripts. Let's see this. Let's create a file. So let's say that arithmetic dot sh or dot something like this, and the shebang value again, and say that arithmetic operators examples. So now arithmetic operators example, let's see this. If you want to give some value or their example, say that a value equal to something and b value equal to something, then you wanted to do a addition, minus, subtraction, multiplied by, or percentage. So all these can be, you can do is using this arithmetic operator. So arithmetic operator in the sense like we are doing this plus minus into percentage. Okay, all this comes under the arithmetic operators. So you can use these arithmetic operators to do the value equations. So what are the things over here, you can do that. So let's say that I'm just going to say something like over here, please enter a value. So I'm saying that enter some value over here. Okay, so that the value will be captured and stored in a variable called, okay, maybe I want to read that as a, and I am again saying that please enter b value. Okay, and let's say that read that value as a b, read that value and store into the b variable. So now what I'm doing, that I'm calling that a value and b value, I'm doing something. So a plus b value is value is, I'm just that value will be calculated in a double process. So whenever you're calling that special values over here, you can use this special process, and $a value plus $b value. So this is going to be an addition of the both the values, and let's copy the same values we are repeating over here and do it. Now a minus b, and here I'm just using this minus value, and a into b, I'm saying that it should be escaped over here, otherwise it won't print, star won't print. Okay, that takes us a special character over there. So or else you can also say something like this: a into b, and a divided by b, a divides by b, and a percentage b, a percentage b, something like this, right? So these are the values. Let's say that echo completed successfully in the last, so that we can identify that all the variable the values will be the arithmetic operators would be completed over here. Let's say that I'm just going to execute this arithmetic value, say that enter the value a, and I enter the value and enter the b value. So a plus b value is 11, a minus b value is -1, a into b is 30, and a divided by b is 0, and a percentage b is 5. So this is the arithmetic operators, so where you can use these arithmetic operators to do a addition, subtraction, multiplication, and divide, and all the stuff. So this is about the arithmetic operators, and let's go ahead and see this. What is the next topic is that relational operators. So how we can use these relational operators to do some stuff. So in between the relation, so basically correlate the relation between the both the values. So what is that? Whether it is equivalent, non-equivalent, all those relations can be correlated using this relational operators. Let's see some example over here. So I'm just going to create a relational operators over here. So what that relational operators are is that you can see this relational operators. Okay, relational operators you can see over here is that like less than value, less than, okay, less than, maybe you can also use the this one, or less than or equal to, less than or equal to. So this can be used as this symbol, and greater than sign, greater than values, so this can be used as this sign, and greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So this can be used as the sign, and equal to sign whenever you use equal to. So this is the equal to value over here, and equal to can be used as this sign, and not equal to, no equal to is not exclamatory sign, not equal to. So these are the relational operators. So let's see some example over here. So what is this using this relational operators, how we can use this? Like you can relationally compare, like what is this value is less than or equal to, or less than or less than or equal to, less than or greater than or equal to, whether the value is equal to or whether the value is not equal to. You can compare the both the values. Comes the relational operators is the best example over here. Okay, let's see this how we can compare this relational operators in a script. Let's create I am example, say that relational dot sh. I'm just going to see over here, and let's create this script and say this relational operators examples. So now what I'm going to specify over here, that again I'm just going to give you two values. Please enter a value something like this, and say echo please enter b value over here. So again I am storing those values into the variables called a, and again I'm reading that output and storing into the b variable over here. Maybe you can also use maybe different values over there, but I'm currently using these values something like this. Say test. So I wanted to test those values using whether it is a less than or greater than or equal to or whatever it is, not equal to, maybe equal to, something like this. Let's say $a is less than $b, and if the value is true, then I am just using something like this dollar question mark value over here, which can print that if the value is true, then the statement is going to print 0. If the value is not true, then it's going to print 1. So I'm just testing using these values over here, and say that again less than or equal to $b. Okay, and say echo dollar question mark, and testing again another value over here, so which may be a greater than $b, and say echo dollar question mark, and testing the value a is greater than or equal to $b, and say echo dollar question mark. So like this you have to write all these values greater than, less than, equal to, not equal to over here, and see this equal to value. So I have written all these values, less than, equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to, and this is what the sample script for to demonstrate the relational operators over here. And let's go ahead and execute this relational operators. Say a value is 3 and b value is 4. So what this we got the questions over here. So let's see this output verify over here. Example, a value is less than b, so a is 3 and b value is 4. Yes, that's correct. So that's why that prints the 0. And if it is less than or equal to b, so not. So that's correct, not less than or equal to, so the value is correct, then it prints the 0. And if say that $a is greater than b, so $a is not greater than b, that's why it prints 1. And if it is not greater than or equal to b, so that's why the value is 1. Again, if you go to the equal to, not not equal to, that's correct. So that's why it prints these values over here. Okay, so this is how the relational operators works. Or the example, I think you have understood this relational operators. Let's see this. Next topic is logical operators. So what is the logical operators and how we can use these logical operators? Let's see some example over here. So example, see these logical operators. So the logical operators are three. So one is that exclamatory mark, which is a logical negotiation value. So logical negation value. Other one is the R, logical R, and another one is the logical AND. So these are the three operators which is called as a logical operators. And let's go ahead and see some example over here. So we can build this one, logical operators dot sh, and let's say logical operators examples over here. And here I'm just saying that maybe one or two values are more than that values. If you want to take you can take over here. Let's say example, say I am taking example, say enter value m, so I'm copy pasting, sorry. Enter value n, maybe enter value o. So I take three values over here, not complicated, and read the value as m and read the value as n, read and store the value as o. Okay, m and o, I'm just taking these three values over here, and I'm going to do this testing. Says that okay, $m value is greater than or equal to 35, and $n value is greater than or equal to 35, and $o value is greater than equal to 35. So what I'm doing over here is that I'm calculating these three values, whether if it is greater than or equal to 35. Then example, say I'm just wanted to print the echo statement over here. It is that congratulations, you have passed exam. Okay, else I'm just saying that echo statement over here, sorry, you are failed. So something like this I would like to write over here, so which can show us that okay, this is a AND operator I'm just using over here. Example, like say that if I say sh logical operator, I'm going to enter the value is 35 and 36 and 56, which says that congratulations, you have passed the examination. But if I say any one of the value is 34, then sorry, you are failed. So this is a logical AND operator, so where it prints the value is that okay, and like value m and o should be more greater than or equal to 35, then only it prints the first value. If none of the values is not greater than or equal to 35, then it prints the next statement. So this is the logical operator example. So you may also write logical or operator example over here. Next topic. So next topic is that if statement. So how you can use this if statement, and so what is the if statement, what if statement is useful for, and how you can use the if statement. Let's say with some example over here. Let's create the file and see that if statement, how we can write the if statement over here. So now I'm just going to say if statement and sh, and see here I'm just going to write this value. So before that we just enter into the insert mode, and now so if statement. So when if statement is used, if statement used like validate the values. Example, say that if you want to say like if I enter some value, if the validation of that value is correct, print something. Or if I say something value is greater than or less than or equal to something like that, then do something. So if else if statement, I'm just going to take something the please provide a value or anything less than 10 or something like that, any value, and say I'm just reading that value and storing that into the value variable, and say if statement, I'm just going to say dollar value is less than or equal to 10. I'm just going to take the decision over here saying that echo, and saying printing values. So print over here like you have provided value is dollar value, and now I can say this example. I wanted to print or I wanted to say maybe anything. Maybe I will print one more, say that script completed successfully, and close this if statement. So now I say any value if you provide less than or equal to 10, in the sense within 1 to 9 value or 0 to 9 values if you provide, or 10 value if you provide, then this echo statement will be printed. That portion of the statement will be printed, within this statement will be printed. If you give 11 or more than that values, then it will not print anything. So let's see over here example, say sh if statement, and the value is I'm going to print is 4. So you have provided value is 4, script completed successfully. But if I print provide the value 11, so it does not print anything. Or if I provide the value 6, so you have provided the value 6 and scripted completed successfully. So this is a small example about the how you can write the if statement, like validate the statement and take the decision based on that validation. Okay, what we have written in the if statement is that if statement, like what are the value you provide, what are the value you have provided with the value is less than or equal to 10, then the script is going to be take the decision that okay, this is what you have to do, otherwise it's not going to do anything. That's the if statement over here. And the next topic is if else. Example, say in this if statement I took the one decision based on the particular value, but if I If else is that if I wanted to do multiple things, okay, if I provide this value then do this, if the other value is not provided in a different way then do different. Okay, so like the same example, or maybe we can take the different example over here to take the decision. So let's create this if else dot sh. So here I am going to do this if else validation, like how you can take the decision. Say if else statement. Okay, here I am taking it two or more values. Maybe I say provide value a, and I am going to print this echo and say provide value b, and I'm going to read this value and store into a, and this value I'm going to read it and store into the b variables, and I'm writing the if statement. Say $a is greater than $b. I'm using this relational operators with this if statement. Say print $a is greater than $b. Okay, else echo, and I'm going to say $b is greater than $a, and close this if statement. This is about the if else statement. So I'm taking the decision based on these values, like if a value is greater than b, then it's going to print this first statement. If the b is greater than a, it's going to print the next statement. Let's see over here and execute if else statement and say enter the value as a and say 5. Say 5 is greater than 4, which means that a is greater than b. Sorry, b is greater than a. Now if I provide this value in a different manner, so it prints 6 is greater than 2. So like this, a value, if the greater than a, then it prints this first statement. A is greater than, then it prints the first statement. If the b is greater than, it prints the second statement. So this is the best example of the if else statement. So you can also use a number of things like here. This is about the a small if else statement example. Now you can see this if else if you want to write a multiple conditions on the if else, like I want to validate the multiple things using this if else if statements. So how we can do that? So more than two or more values I wanted to write over here. Let's say if else if statement, I'm going to give you an example. Say that I have 4 values a b c d over here. I wanted to compare these values. So now out of the 4 values, which value is greater than, okay, which value is greater than, or which value is big value out of the a b c d values which you have provided while giving the input. Okay, let's see this, write this condition over here using this if else if statement. Now I'm going to write this statement over here saying that which value is big out of 4 if you provide a b c d, and which value is big. Okay, if else if statement. Now see, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take four values, enter a value, and I'm going to store that into the value a, and again I'm going to show you over here is that enter b value, and again I'm going to store that input into the b variable, and I'm going to enter c value. Okay, again I'm going to say read the value as c, and again I'm going to enter the value as d. Please enter d value also, and store that value into d variable. So abcd values I'm just going to store over here, and I'm going to validate these four values and print the statement, Adi take the decision upon these values. So I'm going to write this if statement and say $a is greater than $b, and $a is greater than $c, and $a is greater than $b, which means that a is greater than b, c, and d. Okay, this is not b over here, this is d. If it is a b c d more than a b c d, then print the echo statement saying that $a is big. Maybe I can write say something like this, so that in the statement it writes that value would be looks easy. Now I'm going to write else if is going to be write elif statement, and again I'm going to validate the b value is greater than c, and $b greater than $d, then it should write the echo statement is $b is big. Now I'm going to write one more statement is that again it's going to validate the last value is that if the $c is greater than $d, then write the echo statement saying that $c is big, and all the values validations are false, then ultimately $d is big value. So close this if statement. So what I'm doing over here, I'm validating the first a value with b, c, d. Again I'm validating the b with c and b with d. Okay, because the a is already eliminated over there, and now b is validating with the c and d, and again c value will be validating with c and d, and now in the finally if all these values are not greater than, then the d is going to be a ultimately the big value over here. But here I have missed it, it should be a greater than all these greater than values and operator I'm using over here. Let's say execute this if else statement and write the a value 4 and b value is 5 and c value is 6 and 7 d value is, so d is big. Again I'm going to write a value, I'm going to write 7 and b value 5 4 3. So 7 a is big. Maybe if I write something like a is 2 and b is 9 and c is 4 and d is 5. then the B is big value. So this is like out of four values, which value is big. So if you want to validate and take the decision using the if else if statement, this is the example over here. Example C over here, if else if statement, this is the example. So while writing the any if statement, so you have to provide the space over here and space over here. If do not write any semicolon over here, the then should be shifted to the below, or if you put semicolon over here, then the D then can be written over here. So this is the if else if statement example. So you can take a number of example or a number of things over here by doing this if else if statement. Let's go ahead and see what the next step is, that nested if statement. Nested if in the sense like you're going to write this multiple if statement within the if. Like I want to take a one statement, whether it is false or true, then execute the next statement. Like that, I wanted to within the if I wanted to run one more if. This is called as a nested if statement. So how that nested if statement can be written over here, and I'm going to validate this example. Say that the student marks, I'm going to validate that what is this average values. Based on that, I'm going to validate over here using the nested if statement. Nested if dot sh, and I'm going to write this value nested if statement example. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take a student mark list. Example, say that math, physics and chemistry. Out of this, how many total marks he get and what is the average of that value, I'm just going to calculate using this nested if statement. So I'm just going to say that echo like enter mass marks, and I'm going to read this as a m value, and say again enter physics marks, and I'm going to say again this value as a p, and echo enter chemistry marks, and again say here it is that C. So I'm just taking the three values over here, and I'm going to make this statement as a nested if statement. So what I'm going to do is that first of all I'm going to validate whether the student has pass marks or not. Then after that I'm going to validate those marks in a average using the nested if statement. So first of all, if statement I'm going to take here, it is that $m is greater than or equal to 35, and $p value is greater than or equal to 35, and $c value is greater than or equal to 35. So if all these matches, then same total marks. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to use expr. I'm going to validate the marks over here like $m plus $p plus $c. So the total marks is going to be assigned to the total variable, and average variable I'm going to assign using this expr value. So the expr value is average dollar total value divided by 3, because we are using these average can be calculated total up by the whatever the subjects, 3 subjects. So I'm going to validate with the total marks divided by 3 is going to be a average. So now I'm going to show over here, it is that total marks dollar total, and I'm going to say is that echo average marks is dollar average. Now I'm going to validate these statements using the nested if value over here. So I'm going to write again the if statement here again, and same I'm going to calculate this average percentage. How much is dollar average is greater than or equal to 75. If the average value is $75, then it should write the echo statement saying that congrats, you got distinction. Okay, now again I'm going to validate this if statement saying that else if. So here I'm going to validate dollar average value is greater than or equal to 60 and dollar average is less than 75, which means that within 75 to 60 it says that congrats, you got first class. So here what I'm doing is that the first class marks is going to be within the 60 to 75 value. So that's why it says that you got first values over here. Again I'm going to say that nested if statement within the 50 to 60 value is going to be a second, and I'm going to validate this greater than or equal to 50 and dollar average is less than 40, sorry, less than 60, then it's going to be a you got second class. Okay, then if statement says else if, again I'm going to validate is that dollar average value is greater than 35 and average value is less than 50, then echo you got third class. Okay, now I'm going to close this if statement here itself, the first if statement, and again I'm going to say that because if none of the subjects get more than 35, then it's going to print the statement is that sorry, you failed. So this is the validation. I'm going to verify that the first validation is that all the subject, if it is greater than or equal to 35, then it's going to calculate the total and average values, and it's going to print the total and average values over there. Then it's going to print that total values over there. But if I say one of the subjects got less than 34, and say that sorry, you have failed. Okay, and if more than 35, which class subjects you got totally on an average, then calculate the average and print the statement. Let's see over here, and I'm just going to say nested if values. Let's say I want to first of all go with a distinct values. I say 90 90 90. So total marks are 270. You got it, and average marks is 90. Congrats, you have passed into the distinction. But if I say less than 75, maybe I say 73 and 70 and 71, so the first class marks he got. Example, say if I say all one of the subjects he got 34, and another marks he got into the 90 and 95, so he failed in one subject. So this is what the nested if statement example says, that it's going to be validate the first one, and based on the first value is going to write one more if statement and take the decision. Let's see this next example. And next example is that while loop. What is a while loop, and how you can use this while loop over here. So while loop is you wanted to run uh, anything until it completes all this, and again you wanted to loop it back, so that it can be run multiple times until you exit this loop. Okay, let's see this. Sometimes the while loop is very dangerous. If you miss anything which went into the while loop, the system the CPU utilization and memory utilization goes to the peak, and system may go into hang. So while executing the while loop, be careful and write it and verify one or two times, more than that, and check it up before executing. Let's say while loop dot sh, I'm going to say over here that the while loop, I'm just going to write a simple example, not much. While loop example. So the while loop is going to execute with until while loop is going to be executed with all the values continuously, and I'm going to print the table, any table which you have given. It's going to be write that table. So if you give some values, then it's going to give you some table over there. Okay, so let's see what is that. I'm just going to see his here echo please provide one value over here, so any value, and say read -r. I'm just going to store that value into C. I equal to 1, so I'm just declaring the I value over here before doing this while loop. So while loop you can write is that while, and here condition you have to write is that $I is less than or equal to 10. So means the value until it goes to the 10, it keep on doing the this do statement until you execute it. So I'm saying that the B expression, so I'm just going to calculate using the expr value over here $C, and I say into $I. It's going to print that value over here using the echo statement. Say echo $C $B, $I equal to $B. Okay, So if you provide any value 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 into, okay, and it's going to print that value over here, I equal to, and I'm going to add the plus over here because it should increment the value, otherwise it won't run, right? It should increment, right? Done. So what going to happen over here is that the $I already declared as a 1. If it is less than 10, then first statement is going to be execute that, okay, $C value into I. What is the $C value? We have providing the first value is $C value, and $C in the sense $C into $I, in the sense if you provide example C value is 2, 2 into 1 equal to 2, the B value is going to be print, and I value is incremented by 1. Okay, sorry, it's not I, it's 1. Okay, so like it is incremented 1, and again dollar value becomes 2, $I value becomes 2, and if it is less than 10, that's why again it's going to execute this statement, do statement, like that until the I value is going to be 10, it's going to execute this loop. Now let's go and execute while loop. Say if I want to print 2 table, then it prints the 2 table over here. If I wanted to print 3 table is going to be printed over here. So like that, if you want to give anything, it can print that table based upon the number. So the while loop keep on incrementing the given I value from, I declared I as a 1 and increment with 1, so that keep on checking that the I value is going to be 10, then the script is going to be end. If I wanted to while loop, I want to bring this value to the 100 here. If I want to print 100, then it's keep on increasing until the 100, then it will end up at 100. Okay, this is the example while loop over here. Next is for loop. So if you want to run any multiple values into the loop, providing multiple commands inputs, then the for loop would be a best one. So you can write into example, say that if you want to bring multiple systems or multiple servers, then you can use this for loop. It's a just example I'm just going to give over here. It is that, okay, what is the ping results? See how the ping result goes over here. So I'm just going to say for loop dot sh. Here I'm using this and say for loop example as a ping multiple systems print results. Okay, here I'm just using for I value is I'm just going to write into the one file called maybe a host IPs, something like this. I'm just going to write all the IPs over there and say do and here I wanted to ping that system once $I and write this output to the any ping results or something like that, or else I don't want to write to anywhere else, just print it over here. And valid whether above is ping is successful, then it print the echo statement saying that okay it is successful, otherwise say it is not successful, $? and say that again I'm just going to validate using this if statement over here. Say that dollar valid value is greater than 1, greater than or equal to 1. Maybe you can also see if it is 1 also, that is not printed. Then say echo dollar I host is not reachable, else you can say echo statement saying that dollar I host is up, and I'm closing this for loop. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give a list of IP addresses in this host IPs file, and that take that value and ping one time to that IP address, and say if the ping is valid, then it will get $0. Maybe I can say it is greater than value, maybe it's okay. Then it's going to print host is not reachable. If it is not true, then it's going to print the host is up. Now let's go ahead and print this host IPs, and I'm just going to write this local host, something like this, 4.4.4.4 192.168.2.2 192.168.2.1, something like this. And let's check it up that host IPs is the file name. Now execute this for loop, and it pings one time to the 4.4.4 IP address. Then it write the statement saying that if the packet is received successfully, then the host is up. Okay, like this is going to be printed. And I just wanted to do this ping output to the some other files, temp files, because I don't want this output. Okay, ping output, and now run for loop. So now local host is up, and again it's going to print one more IP address and say that if it is reachable, then it's also print the value over here. It's that the host is up or down. Okay, the host is up, the host is up, and again it's going to print one more value. So all the IPs is going to be print. So see this, all the hosts are up. If you say, if you do a different value which is not reachable, then the value would be printed over here saying that the host is down. That's about the for loop example. So you can take a number of values into one variable, and you can assign the multiple values into this variable and call that variable and run multiple times. That's about the for loop. Let's see next. One is that case statement. So when case statement is going to be written, and how the case statement works. Let's see example over here. The case statement, basically if you want to run a multiple statements, not a single one. So if you want to run multiple things, and you can use this case statement. So okay, let's see this case statement example over here, and I'm going to case statement example, right? Now I'm just going to take a few values over here. Example, enter value a, or enter a value. Example, I store that into the variable a, and I'm just going to say enter b value, and I'm going to say this as b1 b. So I'm just going to take the two values and store into the here. So now I'm going to say, I'm going to define these statements. So first of all, I'm just going to statement options over here, 1 2 3 4 5, something like that. Same echo, if I want to execute this 1a plus b, okay, I'm just going to see, give you the value is sum of values, sum of a and b. Okay, now I copy this and take these values is something like 2 3 4 5 statements. So now I take the only single a b c d, and whatever the value I want to print over here. Okay, example, say the next one is subtraction. The next one may be division, two values division. The next one is modulo division. The next one of that example is modulo division. Other one, I'm just taking that maybe multiplication, multiplied by, okay, multiplication. So this is the values over here, and again I'm going to write some statement. Choose any, enter your choice, any choice you enter, that choice from menu. So above menu is going to be take over here, enter any value, and that value is going to be stored as a choice, maybe take cn or ch, anything. And I'm going to write the case statement over here, $ch in. So I'm going to write the statement is that first one, echo, I am just using expr over here, sum of $a, $b equal to, so I'm just going to use a expr statement. So here expr, say $a plus $b, and close this, and close this case statement with the double marks over here. And I'm going to second option, say echo, what is that, subtraction. Subtraction value, say expr, and $a minus $b, and close case statement using the semicolon. And the third one is division. And we are going to write this also into the expression, $a divided by $b, and the value is closed. Fourth one, echo, I am saying this over here, it is that modulo division equal to, and expr value over here, and $a modulo division $b, and close this case statement. Fifth one and the final one, and multiplication values of both the values $a into $b so the fifth one. Now final one is star. If you do not provide anything, example say that invalid option provided, and the case statement can be closed in a reverse case. Okay, ESAC. So the case can be reversed so that the case statement can be closed. This is the example over here, and now just going to execute this case statement, and enter the a value and enter the b value. After that, choose whatever you want. Example say you want to print 2 value, then it's going to print the 2 value, or if you want to print maybe 5, then it's going to print 5. So like that you can use this case statement to be run as a multiple things you wanted to do any one out of it, but the options are available over there. Choose one of the statement from the case. That's the case statement example over here, and let's see this. The next one is functions. So the functions are used to write the any program or any shell script, split into the multiple functions and call the functions over there. So that's going to be a easy, like splitting the big script into the multiple small functions and write the script. That makes a lot easier, where whether if function you want, then you can enable the function. If you don't want, then you can disable the function. So that's the function advantages. Now let's go ahead and see some example over here. I'm just going to see function .sh file. I'm just going to create. Function example. So anything you can do over here. So maybe you can write some something else, anything you can write. So by example, I'm just going to specify function. The function name should be must, so anything you can call it. Example say that print statement, something like this, and I'm just going to write over here as a curly process, and within this if you write anything. So example say that printing example value, something like this. So nothing much, and close this function statement. Now if you do not call anything over here, it does not happen, it does not print anything. Or if you take that print statement over here, then it will print statement, then it will print the actual print statement over here, otherwise it will not print. Okay, that's about the function. So now let's see this. The function is this is the function we have written, saying that print this echo statement. You can enable the function and you can disable the function. Like if you want to run the function over here, you can call that function within that itself, or wherever you want you can call that function. Otherwise you can also disable that function, like here just I do not do anything calling that function. If I say function, so it does not print anything, because I did not call that function to print the value over there, so that's why it just print nothing. But if I want to enable the function it back again, uh, maybe say that print statement, it print the statement. Like that you can use any values over there on the function. Okay, do remember that there is a space in between the curly braces and the brackets. Okay, let's see this. What is the topic? Next one is arrays. So how we can write the arrays, and see this arrays example over here. Let's see. So I'm just going to create a array.sh. I'm just going to see array example script. Now what I'm doing is that I'm just going to take a bucket over here, and I'm going to put some fruits over there, say fruits, and in this bucket I'm going to put some apple, orange, maybe banana, anything, maybe sapota. Okay, and now I say that fruits, I'm calling the value 3 equal to green apple. Okay, for it fruit in dollar fruits, and I say that call all the entire array of the fruits, and do echo. I'm just printing all these fruit name. Fruit name is dollar fruit. Done. And I say echo number of fruits in bucket is dollar, within the braces write the fruits, and at the rate in the sense calling all the array values over there, echo, and now say all fruits, the same again, call that array over here, frui fruits, and within the at the rate. So you can call in within this bracket braces value, bracket value, you can say at the rate, in the sense it will print all the array values over there. If you call 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever the value, so that would be printed over there. Okay, so like this you can call these values, maybe calculate this into the hash. Let's see this array example. I can see this like how many you have fruits in bucket is 5, and all the fruit names, fruits, apple 1 2 3 are going to print over here. So the example over here it is that the array is like whenever you say at the rate, it prints the all the values which are associated. Okay, let's see the next topic. So the next topic is going to be an IFS. So IFS in the sense it's a field separator. So whenever you have any files with the specified field name, like I have comma separated values, or I have semicolon separated values, or maybe I have colon separated values, then if you want to print those values into the different values, you can use this IFS. So let's see this IFS dot sh. I'm just going to call this script and say field separator IFS, and maybe I take some cat slash etc slash password as a example. I'm just going to assign the variable saying that dollar here say cat slash etc slash password file, and grep $1 value over here. Okay, this is the command I'm just going to assign to this variable as a line. And now I'm just going to call IFS. The cat password file has a semicolon as a separator. I'm just going to set that variable value to over here and say echo. The first one is going to be in a username value, username in the first field, and I say username equal to $1, and echo, and the next field of that one is password $2. Okay, the next one is UID. I'm just going to say $3. I want to print only these values out of all. Then I'm going to separate those values divided using the semicolon separate. Execute this script and say root user, or I'm say maybe Techarkit. So there is no username called Techarkit, so there may be a root called Trkit. So like this you can use this script like I'm just saying that one user I wanted to print that value into the what is that exactly divided over here. So let's modify that script in a little bit extending over here. Say that again I want to call it as a GID value of that is $4 over here, and home directory path is equal to $5, and again I'm going to call is that current shell, which is going to be a $7. This is 6 and this is 7, and I'm going to put 5 value as description 5. So now if I going to execute this IFS values over here, say that IFS $IFS and say Trkit is the username, so it's going to print the value over here. Like username is this one, password is this one, UID, GID. So it's going to print you a detailed information separated by the semicolon values. Example, I take root over here, it's going to print that root values over here. That's the IFS, the field separator. So inline field separator is internal field separator is the example over here. Now let's go ahead and see the next topic, here documents. Here documents is the interesting one. Like example, say that if you want to pass a multiple number of lines of text to the echo statement, or if you want to print a number of paragraphs on the statement, you cannot provide on the echo, because the echo statement has some limitations that you cannot print more than 80 characters, something like that. Upon that, if you want to print any statement over there, then that may not work. So what you have to do is that you have to write that statement within that here document. It say that simple things, say here doc dot sh, and I'm going to say over here is that slash usr slash bin bash, say here document example. So here what we are going to specify, say that within this here document you can print a number of lines and a number of commands over here. So let's see this. I want to say something like any file, if you want to cat it, something like that, you can also do over here, or else maybe you can also specify that particular statement over here. Let's say I want to print the value over here, say EOF, maybe within the single quotations, and I'm redirecting that to slash tmp slash ping result, something like that. We have created the file. This is the line number 1, this is the line number 2. Like I wanted to print this all this statement over there. So again I'm just going to call that as a EOF in end. Now execute this here doc and see, and go ahead and see that see it's written that statement into that file. Okay, or else if you do not want it to write into the file example over here, maybe you can also use no redirection symbol over here. This redirection symbol, you can remove it to the file, and you can print these values. Straightforwardly over here, like that. You can do a number of line text to the like if you want to pass a series of commands using this here doc, you can pass it, or if you want to write a paragraph of the text you wanted to put in some file or something like that, you can also do that. So but if you want to write with the echo statement, that's going to be a little bit complex, because that's not allow echo statement, is going to be a limited characters. So that's why you can use here documents to write it. So debugging the shell script. So debugging the shell script is the most important one. Sometimes what happens here it is that I'm just going to write this shell script here in the over here on the notepad, and if I want to execute that same script, so it's not going to execute over there. So what happens, something like in this many scripts I written that hello dot sh is the one which should print just an echo hello world. Okay, now if I'm going to say hello world, it says that bad interrupt, bad interpreter, or if I say sh hello.sh, this also says same one, it prints but not found something hello.sh, something like that. So why it is saying that? Because there is some character difference while writing the script. If you write into the some different way, different editors, and copy pasted from web interface or from the windows, then it gives you a different output. So to avoid that one, so what you have to do is that install DOS to Unix. This is the one command which can convert your actual DOS format into the Unix format. Then the script can be executed successfully. Because if you write the script should be okay, but if you copy paste it from somewhere else, or if you created the script in a Windows editor, okay, that does not work. Same. Now hello.sh, and now going to execute the hello.sh, it works fine. And now again enter. So but before there is a value different, is that okay, I'm not able to interpret using the bash, something like that, you got it right, because of some character difference you can use. Or you can also use some online script validators, just copy paste script to that validator, so that it give you that somewhere you went with the wrong. Otherwise you can also use ss-x, which can provide you that debugging of that script, okay, what happening in the background. Okay, so say that I just create some debug.script over here, and I say bin bash. So I missed is that /usr over here, okay, because the interpreter bash is located on /usr. Okay, debug script, something like this. And now I am saying here it is that I am just writing some if statement, $a greater than $b, and I missed the space over here, and then echo $a is big, something like this I written. Okay, now if I say echo enter value a, and I'm storing this value into a, and echo I say enter value b, and I'm storing that value into b. So now I missed here something value, and here I missed it /user, maybe I put /user correctly, and see this sh-x and run debug.sh. Now enter some value, I enter the 5, I enter the 6 value. So now you can see this, the value debug.9 is missing something over there. So but if you enter without debug mode, just like this, so it show you a different things, okay, where it went wrong, then you cannot identify. But if you do this over here, a little space, that makes your script. Maybe I say /user, I missed it, and if I run into the debug mode, so which can provide me, so what happens, the value is correct but it does not print any value over here. Now go to debug, maybe say chmod u+x debug script and debug. What happens, it does not print any statement over there. So that's going to be a little bit difficult whenever you are dealing with such a environment over here. So use debug mode to identify. Okay, now like this, you can do a debug easily. Next one, maybe a final one, shell script real-time projects and details. So here I'm just going to specify some projects, like maybe if you are interested in, maybe you can try these things. So basically, if you have some environment on your office or your own, maybe a lot of servers are 10 to 20 servers or more than that, 100 servers or 1000 servers, you have to do something like this, is that scan all the network IPs and validate them using the ping, that whether they are up or down, and make the list over there. If they are up, and gather the OS detection. Okay, if after OS detection, if it is a maybe Windows, or if it is a Linux, or if it is a VMware, then make a list over here. So that's a simple real-time shell scripting project, where you scan all the networks and bring consolidated the up host into the one list, and scan the for the OS detection, and write there this IP address of the host is Linux, and this IP address of the host is Windows, and this IP address of the host is VMware, something like that. Okay, that's a simple example of the shell scripting projects you can do your own. And next one is that the shell script source of whatever the scripts I have used from my git repository over here, which is located on github.com/tech tutorials. Shell scripting tutorial is the path where you have all these shell scripts. Maybe it also have some video tutorial, like where it points to the each and individual statements, like if statement, functions, arrays, all these separate videos also over there, and you can see this all the stuff. And if you want to download some bash books or resources, I also given this resource download over here, like you can download the shell scripts book. These 4 books, it's are ultimately helpful books. You can download them using these links over here. So that's about it. For the study resource, that's what you can download the books and use it for your study guide further. If you have any questions and related anything, you can just comment on the comment section. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Please subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos and courses. Please follow us on social networking sites. If you have any technical related questions, you can ask.